Parasyte The Maxim episode 13 review. Shinichi is leaving school and because his classmates are kind of just like, talking about Kana's death and how Shinichi kind of knew about it or was the first one at the site, to saw her die or whatever. And he walks away. And then Murano is walking with him, and she kind of just like tells her that, like, sad things happen but they'll get through it or whatever. And then we see the parasites discussing about how one of their fellow parasites was killed, and he wasn't even in a public place. He was in an out of the way, abandoned place eating, so it should have been safe. And we see Tamiya Ryoko walk in, and she says that the one that killed the parasite was Izumo Shinichi, and he's a human that, his brain has not been eaten, but the parasite works with him. They're working together, and everybody wants to kill him and everything. And she tells them, that he's a valuable sample, and they need to study him and like leave it to her. In the case of Shinichi, and one of the parasites who I think was elected mayor or governor, whatever he elected, said, "Okay, we'll leave it to you." Then we see that Ryoko has her baby. Yeah, baby's, I don't know how old it is, whatever, but it's being taken care of by a babysitter. And then Ryoko comes home, and she tells the kid to be quiet, like the kid is crying, "Rah, rah," like a baby cries, and she just like touches his head, goes near to his ear, and she's like, "Dame," like I don't know how it says, "be quiet," I think it's Dameo or Dame, something like that. But yeah. So, and the kid just stops crying. So that's pretty funny that she tells the babysitter that she's got her son trained well, doesn't she? So it's funny. Or I have it trained well, I think she says. And it's funny and kind of scary, but I think more funny than anything. And when the babysitter kind of leaves in fear, she looks at the kid and she's like, I have to wait till he gets a little older before I see if I want to do any experiments on him or anything. And that was creepy and not funny, and scary for the poor kid. But then we get a private eye tracking Shinichi, and Ryoko has hired him, and she talks to him, and he's like, nothing out of the ordinary. He's just a kid, you know. There's nothing too strange about him. Just a high school kid. But keep following him, keep trailing him, and we'll see, what happens. And Shinichi, or rather, so Ryoko comes up with a plan to use like a bunch of thugs, and I don't know if they're like people. I think they're people like Shinichi's age, like maybe college kids or something. I'm not sure, but they high school kids, whatever, wherever Shinichi's in, but they try to attack him in a group, and it doesn't work, and basically he beats them all up. He wants to know who put them up to it, and they say, oh, there was a woman, and they have no idea who the woman is. They just met her today or whatever. And then the girl with the glasses that I entitled the video earlier that she was a stupid teenage girl, because even though she knew about how dangerous the guy she liked was, she was still like interested in him and going after him, whatever it was. I forget. Not I don't really have too much of a good recollection of what happened then. But that same girl, she talks to Murano and like kind of like says like Shinichi's behavior towards everything that just happened is weird, and like you should be careful about it and stuff like that. And then she like runs away because Shinichi wanted to talk to Murano. Murano was kind of frightened when she thinks about it, because why isn't Shinichi more worried? Why is he so calm? He's too calm. It's kind of making her scared. And then Shinichi goes home and he's like, oh, I'm such an idiot. I should be more like concerned, or I should be more, hurt towards Kana's death. Like, of course, it's so natural. People are going to be suspicious and whatever. And Migi's like, nah, you're a perfectly fine human being. You're nothing like me and my kind. And he's like, yeah, well, that means nothing coming from you. And basically, then we get Shinichi going to Kana's death scene where she died, and he's like all upset, and he's upset in not with emotion, but like he wants to feel upset. He wants to be, more human, and he wants to have more of sorrow towards Kana's death. And the private eye is investigating him or whatever, and he sees Migi, looking at the death scene in his hand, and he basically says like, "Oh my God, like what's going on?" And Migi, knocks out the camera out of the guy's hand and tries to kill him, tries to chase him, but Shinichi won't let him, and he's holding his arm back, and he's trying to hold on to something, and stop Migi from attacking the guy while the guy runs. So Migi detaches himself from Shinichi's arm, and he tries to chase him down, and Migi kind of like grows feet, with like two sights and the feet. Looks pretty cool, but he's only able to like give a reasonably sized cut to the guy's arm, not enough where he can like bleed out or anything, just a shallow cut. And the guy is, he runs away, and Migi's like, we can't catch him, and he wants to go after him. He's telling Shinichi to run after him and kill him because the guy has a camera, the guy knows things, they don't want to become test subjects for the government or whatever. And whatever. So they look at his camera at the house, and they find out that he's been watching them, or watching the private eye has been watching Shinichi for a long time. So they don't know who he is, but they know since he's been watching him for a long time that he's probably gonna come back. Because it doesn't look like he'd be part of the government or whatever. And but Shinichi's worried, the whole time that he would be part of the government, that his friends are going to turn on him, because people are going to think he's a monster, because the government's going to catch him, and all kinds of stuff like that. And what happens is that Shinichi hears labored breathing outside of his house, and he checks, and he sees the guy there in a cast, still spying on him. So pretty much figures out that the guy is probably just a private detective or whatever. And Shinichi kind of panics because he can't, the guy runs away, and he's just panicking over like what would happen and everything, and basically he calms himself down right away, and he says, "Oh, again, I'm calm again. This is like me not being fully human is when I can calm down like this, when I'm in such a panicked state. Like he just instantly snaps out of it, and he's calm as a cucumber, and he's got no problems and no worries." And yeah, so that's it. And the episode ends with Shinichi calling Murano out at night to talk to her, presumably to tell her the truth about everything. But at one point, Migi is Migi is like threatening Shinichi. Like he looks like at his back of his arm, and like he sees like in the back like a blade or whatever. So he knows that Migi is threatening him, that he'll kill Kana if she finds out anything. So he backs away because Kana's desperately trying to. I say Kana. Oh, Murano. Sorry, Murano. Murano is desperately trying to desperately trying to get him to tell her the truth. She's like begging with him, saying that she knows something's wrong with him, that he's lying, and he just won't because he's afraid for her safety. And that's how the episode ends. And it's pretty much like, this whole thing between Shinichi and Kana is, this mistrust between them is driving a wedge in their relationship, kind of, and it's pretty sad. But, Migi will not let anybody know the secret because he's, worried about his own survival. And that's the episode there. This episode, I thought was really good. Not a surprise, right? I always think the episodes are good. But, it's just, I like the aspect of the private eye, from Tamiya Ryoko. Like, what is she trying to find out about Shinichi? She's trying to figure out, like, if there's something different with him aside from, she's trying to study him, treat him like, a potential benefit towards her kind if you can find out why he's so much stronger or whatever. So she's getting him, investigated. And now this guy has seen, the craziness going on with Migi and everything. So how is he going to react to everything? and what's his role going to be aside from just regular private eye. Is he going to find out the truth about Ryoko? And then of course Murano and Shinichi, their issues are it's it's sad, and it makes for good TV to see these characters being having this hardship between them. If they can overcome it and finalize their love for each other, whatever. In the end, if he can overcome this alien crap that's turning him motionless, and if she can overcome her doubts about him, the two can come together. I think that's a good story. And yeah, so and I really also enjoyed that the fact that the parasites are like grouping together, having this like command, so I was just gonna say command function, but more like like command structure in terms of the governor guy is in the charge, and the other parasites are like his allies and maybe his underlings, whatever it is. They're trying to make like separate spots where they can feed, in terms of like they can feed in secret and not be bothered by people. They're trying to coexist within the human society. This is really good stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10 because I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy the concepts of the character arcs that they're building here, and where the story is going. So that's my review for today on episode 13. Be sure to tell me what you think about the review or anything about the episode in the comments below. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and subscribe for more videos in the future. I've got one more Parasyte The Maxim video to do, and once that is done, I only have to do the Vanadis anime. I got to do those episodes, and I also got to catch up on the One Piece manga reviews. And then we'll see what I plan to do for the rest of 2000, or for the rest of this spring season or winter season. I don't think I'm going to cover any new anime, but I think I have some ideas of other stuff I want to do. But yeah, I'll let you know what's going on in a future update video. Thanks, guys. Have a good time. See you in the next video.